It's not with me, it's at my house. I try to get her to come here and smoke, and she's making me go to her house like she did last time. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not super like she's pursued. She's not. Um,
Well, no, explain it. Are you interested in her? You don't seem like you are. So then you have to decide, um, is it something that you would enjoy just for the sake of fun? But you don't seem like that kind of guy. I mean, you might, but I don't know if that's not really what
that's
you
what I'm trying to figure out. It's like after this weekend, I'm like, I just need to not take sex so seriously, and
uh,
I feel like I need to experience the whole fucking around thing. But she's not terribly bad looking, but she asked me for my number, and then she's been pursuing me ever since, and I don't like that shit at all.
right, you like to be the pursuer.
It's such a turnoff.
Yeah.
And I go to her place of work to see the girl that I am pursuing, who does the chase so fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. She is like this is going to be a long process. Long. She's
So
she's on it. She
they
does
work.
an occasional wink. She does an
Uh-huh.
occasional wink, and she does slight flirting that is a little bit more than you
Mm-hmm.
would expect us from somebody who's trying to take your money in tips.
Mm-hmm.
But you still are, oh.
But these girls work together?
Yeah, that's the thing that I'm really trying to figure out. Like,
So, no, because if you're trying to hook up with the other girl, anything you do with this girl is going to end up back. Like the other one's going to hear about it.
and think down upon me.
Right. I
But
would.
this girl is also the other girl's manager.
They'll still talk.
And I don't think she wants them to know that she smokes weed. And that's the whole premise at which she's inviting me over is to smoke a little bit, which I do want to do. And she is about to leave for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks, she's going to be gone. Like, as of this week.
Hmm. I don't know, Nick. I feel like this is out of my area of expertise. Hmm. It's all about what you want. I don't know.
Don't say that.
Why?
I don't know what I want, Jewel. We've been over
Oh,
this.
yeah. Okay, you're right. Um, okay, let me try and come up with something that's actually helpful then.
The other girl is way more jewelish than this one.
Okay.
This
Way
one's
more.
the closest. This girl is the closest to your clone that I've met thus far in real life.
Okay. So I would
Except
say,
way cockier. She's super cocky. It was just like I was waiting for Audra to leave. I was waiting
why?
because this is why I stopped talking about it because I was looking at the audience. And I was like,
No one else wants to hear about it.
yeah.
And I live for this stuff. Okay, let's see.
Well, I don't want to. It's different when it's just you and I, but generally I don't like talking. Like it's I've had a lot of haters in my life, and I know what breeds haters, and it's talking about things that people present that they can't do easier themselves.
Oh, like hook up with girls?
And that's not Audra. I wasn't talking about Audra
Oh.
specifically. I was just talking about people who don't typically engage this type of thing or value it. It's typically because they're not,
Oh.
again,
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people in here that don't value this kind of stuff. So I understand what you're saying. Sometimes I feel bad. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, like I know that
well,
especially
why do you think
when
that
you and
is?
I think
Why
when
do
you
you
and I
think?
start talking too, it can like not exclude other people, but I notice that like other people don't join in as much. And I don't maybe because we talk about this type of stuff a lot. I don't know. But
I don't know. I feel like when we interrupt stuff, it's because people were talking about stupid shit before that.
So my only thing would be if I were the other girl, like the one you were actually interested in, and I heard you like about you hooking up with a coworker of mine, I would definitely be like, maybe not anymore. You know? That's the
But
only thing I would caution. But
but
okay, see,
but what if I spun it as
you're
but
making
girl,
excuses, which means you want to do it. You're making excuses, which means you
no, no,
want to
no,
do it.
no. That's
Oh, okay.
I mean, possibly. I do want to. I am curious over anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what I want until I'm up in it, and I do know that I do want reefer.
Right. Is this the type of girl that you can tell she just wants to have fun, or do you think she is actually interested in you and it would kind of like be leading her on if anything were to happen?
Because of the fact that she reached out to me when I had kind of like put her on buy
Right.
mode,
Mm-hmm.
and it's right when she's about to leave for 6 weeks,
Yeah.
tells me that it's certainly she's wanting to have fun as a part of it, but she also told me that when she left the first time, because I like talking to her,
Yeah.
and so she got my number, and I said you can come smoke or something, and I was horny that night, and she left saying this is the most interesting conversation I've had in a long time. I was like, oh,
Mm. Yeah.
because I that was not reciprocated.
Oh no. That's awful.
But I seek out
It's
those things.
understandable.
I
It's
seek.
awful. It's awful in the sense I feel bad for her. Like it's not anything you did.
It's understandable to me because I seek out those types of things.
Yeah.
I'm a conversationalist, especially in real life.
Yeah.
This place, I have no repercussions on here,
Right.
other than that I started caring about you people. And
Yeah,
I
I
have,
don't I really people in here, there's some people that can come in and they I don't know. I treat everyone in here like I would treat someone I'm getting to know in real life. Like it doesn't make a difference to me that it's over the internet or like I'm only seeing people on a computer screen or something. I don't to me that's never kind of been an issue. But I know for
well,
some people they can come in here and they can dissociate. Like they very much separate this with like their real life and people they know.
I don't, I don't, I don't do either of those. It's just a new thing that I've never experienced before.
What?
I'm not trying to keep a long held friendship or whatever healthy. I'm not being careful with someone that I've come to love or like a lot over a period of time, and it's also not somebody that I'm seeking to gain business advantage over, and it's also not something. It's also, I guess, very least I like being listened. I like when people like listening to me, and the very best I like being liked
Hmm.
in here. But it's for me. I know that in here, I've heard people say things worse than what I would say in real life that would get me in trouble. Or
Mhm.
that not even get me in trouble. That I know that would rub people the wrong way, and that they wouldn't. They're not on that same brave brainwave. So don't try and dial them into your frequency too much. But in here, it's like I don't know. It's how you've described it. It's just a bunch of ne.
Mhm.
It's okay here. generally in real life, it's seen as a waste of time and nonsense before it's sometimes taken as not nonsense. Before it's sometimes taken as insightful. It takes a while for you to build a relationship with somebody for it to become insightful, or you just say the right things right off the bat, capture their interest, and then. Does that make sense?
No.
No, that's good. I'm glad you told me. Glad you told me.
At least not to me. It didn't. I was honestly trying to understand, and I felt like I was following you for a little bit.
Well, I could have been just rambling. Bunch of
No, I mean, okay, so I was just trying to distinguish. So you're saying, yeah,
it's not worth breaking down, Joy.
okay,
You don't
okay,
have to do that.
all right, all right,
This is not important.
okay. We'll move on then.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Don't be so loose with your FE with me.
I don't know any other way.
Sure you do. It
I
takes you a while to get there, but you inevitably end up there with me almost always. All right, I'm just gonna say it. Is what you prefaced it by when you finally get there. I don't know how else to say this, but I feel like based on what you've told me that, and then you'll get into it. It's like,
okay.
ooh, she's so right. I love it.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. But I think, hmm. But I'm just trying to think in my brain if I ever let go of that completely. Like if I, or if it's just, I will always do that.
Well, and I don't mind if you do. I'm just saying, don't think it's necessary.
Oh. I just want to balance being kind with being truthful.
The fact that you still are interested in what I say sometimes is all that I need from you as far as kind goes.
Yeah.
That I appreciate more than the kind stuff that you think is kind isn't really. I know you well enough to know that you have a bunch of layers to you,
Hmm.
and that you're filtering it through all types of stuff because you understand that people react. I mean, you've explained how you yourself kind of react a little irrationally in the moment of an emotional state of
Yeah.
emotions coming on. And I think you're particularly sensitive to that, and it's why you're able to communicate so well sometimes because you can say something that's to the point without spearing up any emotional tension that would otherwise take away from the truth of what you're having to say. But
You feel it's unnecessary?
for I know I have a good idea of your nature now, and I don't need that. I probably did it first.
Oh, okay.
I've seen that inner jewel, and it's like, because here's the thing: even the truth that you're trying to protect is coming from a place that's still even more kind than the place that you're projecting it to, like you're sugarcoating it with.
You think so?
Yeah, because sometimes because otherwise you can be kind to people that you don't actually want to be kind to, and that's not necessarily being kind to them. Because if you don't like somebody, I think they're probably somebody that they need some growing to do,
Yeah.
or they got some issues. Because you're not super judgy at the same time, but you also are a little bit more planted in reality than like 99% of people in this place. And when you get a bunch of lonely intuitives, which is the only reason people come in here, you get a bunch of lonely intuitives coming into a place and they don't have a jewel, things can go bad, I feel.
How so?
Well, You start having all of your experiences in one place that's far from the general consensus, and you forget. You start sharing your ideas and taking on other people's ideas that are all intuitives, that are lonely, that aren't experiencing the real world, and adding to their ability to intuit things rather than building their intuition off, because intuition is built off experience.
Mm-hmm.
And if your experience is being gained through here, then it's your experience of intuition is being built off the experience of intuition. That's not good.
Yeah.
Your meaning making is being made off other people's meaning making rather than experience your own shit so you can make your own meaning making from the real world,
Yeah.
which is super important. I mean, this place has a very good chance of preventing people from getting married and fucking and making bad decisions, which then cause them to be in a really bad place that causes them to really bite down and make some major shifts happen in their life, and they do a pivot and they become a different person. They say, I'm not longer that person because I've been through this shit.
Yeah.
You know, I've been through so much shit that if I hadn't been through, whew,
You struggle with that. You've said
I do
being in here
for sure.
because you're in here talking with me instead of going to smoke weed at some girl's house and possibly getting it on. Yeah.
I mean, you may be good for other people, but you're probably terrible for me.
No.
Probably the worst.
No. Oh. I
You're dangerous, Joe.
No, I am not. Stop. Stop. Stop.
Okay,
Okay.
back real quick.
So how are you doing, Spacey?
What's up?
I said, how are you doing?
Not well.
No?
No.
What's wrong? Or is it very personal?
Just the usual crippling depression, honestly.
Oh, Spacey.
Same old shit.
Yeah.
I hate that, Spacey. I wish that fucking. If anybody asks you, Spacey, and of course I'm going to make this about myself real quick. Have you ever met an ENTP Enneagram 3 Wing 2? Yeah, he had all these types of elaborate, ridiculous ways for me to get out of my depression. It was really annoying at times, but also a lot of validity to it, but just still at the same time. That does suck, man.
I know.
Because I experienced really, really deep, really, really, really deep depression for like 30 minutes. And then it's gone. It's like, huh. And if you,
What does your depression feel like, Spacey?
nothing, this,
Yeah, it doesn't really feel like anything.
a void.
But I mean, is it just like a lack of wanting to do anything? Is it?
Among other things.
I feel like you should come live with me, Spacey.
Basically, the color like just completely bleeds out of the world. You don't taste your food. You don't really smell anything. You don't feel much of anything. Nothing is enjoyable. You don't look forward to anything. It doesn't seem like anything good is ever going to happen. I mean, you feel like you might as well fucking be dead.
Does it ever, you have to wait for it to lift on its own?
I mean, it doesn't really lift. I mean, sometimes it gets a little bit worse, but it's always been there. I mean, basically, I've basically had a single 15-year-long depressive episode.
I was watching a comedian on Netflix. It was really interesting. It was called Three Mics, and I can't remember his name, but he wrote with Dave Chappelle for the Chappelle Show. And so it's Three Mics, and he struggled with depression for most of his adult life. And so he'd have one mic for one-liners, and then when he switched to another mic, he'd talk about his depression and his struggles with depression, everything he's tried to do to cure it and all that. And then he'd switch to the third mic, and he would do like actual stand-up kind of routine. It was really interesting. It's on Netflix. But,
Okay.
yeah.
Do you like stand-up, Jewel?
I do like stand-up. Yeah. Look at that face. Who do you like watching, Nick, or listening to?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
I'm still trying to find out reasons why I'm not attracted to you.
Reasons why you're not attracted to me?
Yeah, you are married.
Oh, yeah. Kind of puts a hitch in the whole thing, right? Mm.
And I think you like driving me crazy.
No.
You are completely, you're not doing anything wrong. And I'm fighting everything I have to be still within my own moral framework by saying, by holding back 80%, if not 90%, what comes into my mind, holding that back from saying it.
Well, okay, it creates a little bit of a dilemma for me too, because
whatever.
It does, because I enjoy talking to you, and I feel kind of a special, how do I say this? I feel like I connect easily with you, but it's also at the same time, it's difficult because I don't want to. I know there's lines of like being appropriate and inappropriate and right and wrong, and it's like, not that things get fuzzy, because I feel like I keep myself pretty in check, but I don't know. I'm not making any sense. But
I think you do a fantastic job, and I think that you don't have to. I mean, here's the problem: is that part of my attraction to you is knowing that we would be fantastic together, and that you are attracted to me too.
right.
And you don't have to say it. It's just that bond that you're talking about makes that like it's explicitly understood by the other person that like,
Yeah. It puts me in an interesting situation of, yeah, it's just an interesting situation.
well, I don't want you gotta if there's ever anything you need to tell me where it's like, oh, this is how I feel right now about to do this and this, gotta tell me, because part of the whole bond thing is I genuinely do care about my effect on you in a negative way. I don't want it to occur at all.
Right.
Like I value your quality of life.
Yeah. And I feel like you do.
That's
So.
good because I feel like I do cross lines sometimes, and I'm very sorry about it. But but at the same time, I'm consistently giving myself pats on the back for just how much I restrain myself.
Right. Well, and I think what we have working in our favor, obviously, is logistically, it's there's not, you know what I mean? And so it's
If
like a
if I knew that if Jewel was an actual possibility, California is all of a sudden around the block.
but what I mean, as far as
I'm serious. I'm
well,
serious.
I mean, it works in our favor as far as like, it's not like you're talking to someone like down the block from you that you could just go see and hang out with. You know what I mean? So there's automatically a certain amount of distance that's just going to be inherent in the situation.
I don't experience that because, yeah, I don't experience that. I need somebody that's out in California, so it's motivating to make more money, which I don't. If you have means, and things are starting to pick up really well. These results are starting to really pay off. Like I think I'll have doubled sales within a couple months.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just getting started. It's like I'm like, really? I don't even have these elaborate plans. I can just do this stuff for now, and it makes this much effort.
Yeah. Are you feeling better about like where you're going with things? The other day you were kind of all over the place, but you had a lot just happen. So
Well, I put more effort into this than I'm really having to work hard. Like I used to work tons of hours. Like 1 month at my last company, I had 1 day off for the whole month.
mm-hmm.
And I made 10 grand that month.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. But it's like the ceiling is much higher here, and but at that place though, it was just me talking. It was me doing things that I'm already good at doing.
Yeah.
This I'm faced with all types of new stuff that I'm not. It's just new challenges, but pulling from the same ideas and understandings that I've used in the past, which is that before I was the one telling people to do it, now I'm actually doing it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Which is yeah, but it's also like, oh my god, I feel like there's 20 people I know for a fact that I should call and say, hey, my bad.
Why is that?
I minimize their problems. Just because I understood it doesn't mean that it's not easy to execute.
Yeah.
Like I called my old CEO 2 weeks ago. We had like an hour-long conversation. This is a guy that I've cussed out. He's done so much for me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is somebody, he's an ENTJ. He's told me he thinks very lowly of most people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I did this thing where there was inefficiency that was preventing me from being as good as I could have been. I was blaming it on him and then judging him and then saying that he was inept and then really being in a very disrespectful way.
Yeah.
And then after kind of running a company and being, in control of other people's stuff, it's like,
you see the other side of it.
Yeah, and I did before. It's just I didn't value it until I got until I got a little cut myself.
Yeah.
Blood and like teeth and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I called on my way back from Tennessee this morning. I called one of my old mentors who was with me through a lot of my shit talking about Phil at my old company. Matter of fact, how I met him was through my old company. He was a customer turned friend turned mentor turned friend turned mentor. One of the smartest people I've ever met. He's crazy, but in a cool way. He's been on here before,
Oh
like
yeah.
like for like 30 minutes, and then he's like,
That wasn't his thing.
"Well, he thought it was ridiculous."
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. Especially like if a lot of people who knew me saw me on here, they'd be like,
Uh-huh.
"Wait,
They would?
yeah."
What? Okay, so what would make them say that? You just act
Oh,
like.
Nick can spend all his time on here, but he's too busy to hang out with me in real life.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, Nick's. I thought he was doing all this other shit. But he's on here all. What, there's a big group of people back from my hometown that are saying, like, there's this one particular group of friends.
Hmm.
They're great, um, but also not really going anywhere.
Yeah.
Like they all have kids and just and with somebody, and they've all kind of like slept amongst each other. Actually,
Oh, interesting.
super weird.
Is it
It
small town?
yes,
That's just small town stuff. I live in a small town. That's it's not uncommon.
and like there's some really smart ones too, but they're like lawn care people,
Uh-huh.
and it was kind of like collectively, like everybody took a minute to address me, like saying, "We're proud of you, Nick. Keep doing what you're doing. We know you can. We know you're crazy at the same time, but don't come back here." And it meant a lot to me, even though I left and I was like, "This isn't that crazy."
But to them,
But to them, and it's like,
I understand it from their perspective. I do.
but then I'm awfully scared of being like in a state of settling, which
Yeah.
is already my problem. And then it's like, I don't know, they wouldn't understand. I mean, I have a wide group of friends, a wide circle of friends, and that I've had very close relationships with all of them. But since I've met talking with famous people, they haven't seen much of this guy. I
Which
don't
one
know why.
do you think is more accurate to who you are? Or is it both? It's just different sides or different aspects?
Well, there's the excited me that just wants to play and
Uh-huh.
and be ridiculous, and
Yeah.
I'm somewhat repressed from that in real life, IRL, and uh, there's the knowing somebody short term and then knowing them over a period of time. There's also um, I don't I'm used to really having to think about what I say in my work environment because it has serious repercussions.
Yeah.
In here, it is not, and that took me a while to. I still don't. I'm still like the crazy salesperson or whatever that says the things that you're not supposed to say, but not any.
Hmm.
This is just nuts on here.
That'd be interesting. And to see a different Nick. I mean, I,
I think it would. There's most people would frighten. I think you not so much,
yeah.
but it's neither of them are wrong. It's just an extreme of both ends.
Yeah. It is very different getting to know, I mean, knowing someone on a day-to-day basis through shared experiences as opposed to something like this, all you have is conversation, you know? and it's um what? What?
I'm glad I haven't met you in real life.
Oh goodness. No, I just mean it in the sense that like people that it is interesting to think about like if someone who knows me in real life were to like sit and watch these videos, if they would think it's an accurate representation of who I am, or if they see me differently than how I portray myself in here. You know? I haven't really thought about that.
Can you say that again?
Oh, I was just saying that is interesting because I hadn't really considered like if there was someone who knows me in real life, if they were to sit and watch the videos, if they would feel that I was accurately representing who I am. Like if it would still be in line with like who they think I am as a person. I don't know.
I think the opposite would be interesting.
If what?
I'd like to see you interact with people on a normal basis.
Huh. I'm trying to think of how it's different. I'm honestly trying to think of how I'm different in here as opposed to real life.
Well, it's
Real life.
first of all, I don't think this is conjecture,
Okay, go
but
for
I
it.
think people would be surprised that you could find so much entertainment in just talking to random strangers online, and
Probably.
and
Yeah.
then developing a relationship with them, and then having emotional vested interest in the outcomes of not real episodes
Mm-hmm.
that unveil themselves in the air. I also think that I would assume that people would be surprised at the depth that you have
Possibly.
and what you find interesting, what you deem as interesting conversation.
Yes, probably. You know what? It's kind of rude. It's actually funny, like you bring that up. Where was I? I was at Mother's Day. We went to like at my in-laws' house. We just had like everyone went swimming, they barbecued and stuff like that. And it's uh we're all like sitting around this big table, like all the grown-ups, and there was conversation going on. And it just kind of struck me a little bit like I find this kind of boring. And I never like had that thought.
Oh no! Run, Jill, run!
No, not in a sense of like, but I mean, it was all very like sensory stuff. Like, it was all like, oh, you know, what's this person doing? And oh, we went here and did this thing. And oh, did you see that truck? And I'm gonna buy this truck. And not that that ever was like very stimulating for me before. I mean, I've never been like fascinated with that, but I would, you know, participate and stuff. But then I just had this like really distinct thought, like, oh, like I'm not invested in this
That's when you could have
conversation at
shifted it.
all.
But
What?
see, that now I suppose that you used to be really good at small talk. Like your flavor of small talk was particularly delicious. Uh, is what I would assume was the case. And
Right.
huh?
It's just okay.
Well, that's what delicious small talk looks like.
Okay, all right.
Just okay. There's no such thing as great small talk because then all of a sudden it's no longer small talk.
Yeah, you're okay. Yeah, good point.
And I say use the word delicious because I'm talking about you. So
But
you know,
I think it's like just some, and you know, I don't even always engage in like the really what would be deemed, I guess, stereotypically intuitive conversation that goes on in this place. But I think it's at least opened my eyes to it a little more.
you always say that, but you contribute at the right time in the right way.
Hmm.
Says Neptune.
Yeah, that was a nice thing he said. I don't know. So what are you gonna do? It's 10 o'clock where I'm at, which means it's even later where you're at.
She's texted me like 4 times.
No. Okay. You gonna go? I feel bad. Don't stay in here just to talk to me if you want to go.
I can't help it. That's what
I feel bad. Like, okay, am I holding you back? Should I go? Should I be like, I can pretend I have to go to bed or something like that. That way you can go.
are you holding me back?
Well, I just mean from what we talked about, from your life experiences.
And what did we talk about? I don't know what I want.
Uh,
Well, I do, but we can't really have that conversation.
no, we can't. But we can have a conversation about this waitress girl. Is she a waitress? The one you're trying to bartender? What is she?
A little bit
The
of
one you
both.
are trying to pursue.
Maggie?
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I have to let me talk. All right, I'm back. So do you have like a game plan for that one, or are you just playing it by ear?
Persistence.
Yeah.
Being
So is this the one that you, a long time ago, you got her number? Okay. So do you ever text her, or do you just see her when you go in where she works?
oh yeah. First time I text her, she didn't text back. Second time she texted
Yeah.
back once, I text back twice to her one reply, and then I stopped. And then I
Uh-huh.
saw her again, and I called and then said, "You're difficult," and I never talked to her again. And I saw her again, and I kind of ignored her. And I saw her again, and then she was like quite. She's not somebody. She was not being the person that's trying to keep a distance.
Okay.
And I said, and I here's how I mentioned the. First of all, I was talking shit to her being so slow making my drink compared to Josh, the other bartender, whom I also like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was honest. She was taking forever. He was quick with it. And she was like, "So you're gonna talk shit to the person's making a drink?" I was like,
Mm-hmm.
just trying to get a little competition going. Damn. And then I was like, you know what? You might be slower, but you're awfully pretty making that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Cute. That's a good one.
before that, she had just randomly winked to me.
Uh-huh.
A wink. I mean, come on. And then the other girl was blatantly like the other girl bought my drinks.
What?
$30 worth of drinks. She came up and ate my shrimp from my plate. I was like, "Don't worry, I'll buy your drinks." I was like, "Don't do that. That is a now I'm in debt to you. I don't
Right.
like free stuff. That's all of a sudden no." And
Uh-huh.
then when she left, I was like, "Maggie, you got to teach her your ways." And she was like, "She's been bartending longer than I." And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't say anything for like maybe a minute. It seemed longer, right? But it was probably a minute.
Yeah.
And I said, "I wasn't talking about your bartending."
Ooh, smooth operator, Nick Sharon.
And then she looked at me like she really looked. And then I was on the phone most of the rest of my night. And then I said bye to everybody, and then I left when she was in the kitchen.
Yeah, good move.
Yeah, it's not off the internet. This is my arena. And being able to, and she can't. she is forced to. She's finding herself constantly having a different uh, perception of me. Because
Mm-hmm.
been in a different mood every time.
Yeah.
And at first, I was nervous around her and said stupid shit. And she's coming off. She's seeing me coming off having 2 nights of sex with my ex who is trying to get back with me. That's a
Mm-hmm.
big boost to the confidence level.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I'm at where I'm supposed to be at, which is normal levels,
Right.
both mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So it's like, so now I have access to the levers that I need to pull
Right.
on myself.
Uh-huh. No, sounds like it's going in the right direction.
You know, I've had long conversations about this, like, well, because last time I was single, a couple friends were like, who I hadn't seen in a while, were out with me one night, and they're like, "Do you think that like is borderline manipulation? Like, is that different than I am regularly?"
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Well, no. Well, it'd be manipulation if I was anything else."
Yeah. I don't see it as being manipulative. I think we all do it. Well, okay, not all. I mean, there's people that don't know. I think if you have any understanding of the opposite sex or whatever sex you're interested in, you, to some degree, do that, right?
Well, it's interesting because these people that commented on this have when they meet somebody when they've introduced me is two people in particular who I worked with,
Mm-hmm.
and they had seen me in say like my sales in action. And if they meet somebody out, they're like, "This dude's like the best salesman in the world." Do you know what that means? What does it mean to be a great salesperson?
Do I know?
I
Are
say
you
that to
asking
them.
me? This is a hypothetical?
But I think everybody should know. It means that you can talk to people, right? And
Yeah.
you can get on the same level as them, and you can communicate to their wants, needs, beliefs. It's it's here's what I heard on the podcast recently that really resonated with me. It's not if you can do evil based on an understanding of how people operate and you know ways of being able to mislead them and manipulate them and to get selfish gain and be evil.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in itself what's bad. Like I was talking to Kit Kat the other day, and she was talking to me about how upset it made her watching me talk to that Michael guy.
Yeah, I was there.
You were there,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about it's like it's not that because I was like, you know, I have this. Everybody, I'm sure most people do too. But you think about Kit Kats, and it's like, what a what a gentle creature that's so pure.
Right.
But she's less capable. She's just not capable of doing such a thing. So it's not that she has the moral. She's not a better person because she's not doing it. It's because she's not capable yet. I'm doing. This is very. I'm not doing this. I've been bad. I've been hard on myself in this in the past, and I think one of the first conversations you and I had was about how I've manipulated people throughout my whole life up until a certain age, and
Mm-hmm.
then or maybe that was light bulb, and then I kind of like I don't know something happened where I kind of like just saw how gross it was,
Hmm.
especially when um, you have to get pretty intimate with people in order to do that effectively. And through that intimacy, it kind of softened it made me empathetic to what I was doing,
Yeah.
empathetic to them and conscientious of what I was doing. So part of, that got more and more so. And then now, and anytime I'm in sales, the whole thing is making sure I know what they want. So then I can say, because then I will be awfully manipulative if they've agreed, yes, I can spend money on this, and yes, I need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because people talk themselves out of things so much,
Yeah.
and girls do the same thing.
Right.
And I get it because, especially, like I'm sure you have so many stories about some really creepy fellas in really uncomfortable dating situations.
Yeah, there's been a few.
And you come from a small town
Mm-hmm.
in Nashville. These ladies are rated with creepies.
Yeah.
And you see evidence of that by the fact that you see beautiful women walking down the street, and it's not they're like very rarely do you see a woman walking down the street with a man as good looking as her. Here in particular, I think it's true in most cases, but here is particularly the case, and it's not because they have a lot of money.
Oh, why is it?
I think it's because they're attracted to the person who isn't the sleazy, creepy person that's overly aggressive and confident, just kind of skin deep rather than soul deep.
Mm-hmm.
Which sounds corny. It's like surface level confidence compared to I think I can add. I think you're worth, because that's what I want to find. I want to find somebody like that I'm not. I don't think that I deserve this kind of person. No, I want to find somebody that is so awesome, and I'm so lucky to be involved that it inspires me to become that person that's.
I
think it happens a lot here.
Yeah. The last thing you said is interesting because I was thinking about something. I don't know if you meant it that way or I just took it that way, but I was thinking about something earlier about relationships and about like how much do we expect? I think everyone kind of has that. I keep saying everyone, and I don't mean everyone, but there's like this thought.
Your vibe and your feeling is that.
Yeah, it's just the feeling of like, oh, if you find this person somehow by being with them, it makes you a better person. And I wonder if that's unfair to put on someone else or if that's actually an achievable reality. I mean,
well, I think it is for sure, but it's such a small aspect of the sum of it all. But I mean, that's without a doubt true for me. That's been my experience.
Yeah, that when like being in a relationship with someone.
Not just someone.
Well, I know not anyone, but.
I mean, I honestly feel like the girls that came into my life long term, when they did, was absolutely perfect for the state I was in.
Yeah.
The life experience I was in.
Mm-hmm.
Which also makes sense that, they both had the helper mentality.
Yeah.
And they were both more mature than I, to a degree, on some level, which isn't really that strange because
it's like 80% of the female population.
Yeah. But it's also because I don't value maturity, because a lot of the times it's because you need to be mature for other people. It's not, you need to actually care about, like, people will say, it's important for me to do well in business, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the person who would do really, really well is going to be the person that's working crazy hours and is difficult on the public perception level.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to come with problems. But that shouldn't matter if that's really, if what the outcome of the whole thing is what you're saying is important. You shouldn't care about the process. But people all of a sudden start caring about the process when they're getting what they wanted in the first place. And to that I say, fuck that. That is stupid.
You think so?
Like,
You think it's stupid?
yeah. Like people say, Nick, be polite. Nick, be nice. Or Nick, be, and they don't say this anymore because I stop before it gets there. But Nick, you got to be professional. Like I got snitched on by a fellow colleague at one job because of how I talked to a customer. And then he went and said, Nick called a customer a pussy. Hey, call him a pussy, Phil. And then he went to Phil and told him that. Phil came, Nick, just because you're doing well in sales doesn't mean you can say it. You cannot say that you cannot represent my company that way. I was like, don't you fucking Phil, call him. And he called him, and Phil had to end it early because he was saying I built a relationship with that guy because I wasn't the person that these other people pretend to be, which is shallow.
Yeah.
You have a mask on. You can't do shit with a mask, and that's deemed as maturity.
I just don't even with ENTPs anymore.
You just what?
I just don't even because I mean, there's certain times I'll like call out stuff like that, but there's been way too many times, especially like being in here, where my gut reaction is like, how could you? Like, why would you say that to someone? Why would you act that? And then it turns out to be totally fine. And like the other person didn't care. And it's
crazy.
And that's like, I'm like to the point now where I'm like, why would I even say anything anymore? Like, it's just, I don't know.
It drives me nuts. Not anymore, because I've just totally understood that that's going to happen and that people will be fine. In fact, they'll be more fine with it once they understand it. And it's particularly bad right now because of shit like Facebook.
Why is that?
You are used to seeing such fake conversations happening online and stuff. And people are becoming more and more disconnected, I think. When you need something, you go to your phone rather than go knocking on a door.
Yeah.
You used to have to remember people's phone numbers and go to pay phones if you were on the road. Now you just click an app.
I still have most of the important phone numbers memorized. I know most of them. But no, I know what you're saying. I've actually thought about like deleting my Facebook or deleting other things once in a while. I consider it. And I never do because I have extended family that I don't really keep in touch with otherwise, but.
So you want to act like you're keeping in touch with them instead.
Ooh. Touche.
It's not. I do the same thing. This is not me talking shit to you. It's me talking shit to the idea that I also participate in.
Yeah.
But it's why I think.
But what else are we supposed to do? Only in the sense that, like, I don't think I could maintain, like, deep, meaningful relationships with all these people. Yeah, I don't want to exclude them from my life. I mean, just aren't there going to be shallow relationships?
I think people, you don't have to have that. And it's also, I think people have been amazed. I've seen it happen many times where it takes two people thinking they know each other for a long time, and then something happens, typically out of a situation of chaos, that all of a sudden they realize, whoa, I really like this person a lot more than I was pretending to like this person. Now I actually like this person. And it takes people to value such a thing for it to actually go away. I mean, nobody wants to have an inauthentic conversation with somebody.
No.
And then if you're not having an authentic conversation with somebody, and you have to do that thing to engage in any conversation with them, well, you shouldn't be their friend. You shouldn't have anything going on with them.
I feel that way, and so I have this friend who I've known for since high school, so it's been a long time now. And I feel like the